Hello students, welcome to mathematics class. Students, we are going to discuss a new chapter called data handling. This is part 1 in which we will be learning introduction part of this chapter, data handling, and later we will be learning the meaning of recording data and organizing the data, as well as we will be learning pictograph. Coming to the introduction part. Students, you must have observed your teachers recording the attendance of students in your class every day, or recording marks obtained by you after every test or examination. Similarly, you must have also seen a cricket scoreboard. Two scoreboards have been illustrated here with examples I am going to take. First one will be a table showing the performance of bowlers, where name of bowlers are ABCD and number of overs that they bowled, 10 overs each, and number of maiden overs made by them given as a one column, and number of runs given by them is shown as another column, and finally the number of wickets that they could take is given as fourth column. Now this sort of performance table of bowlers you have seen while watching cricket, and I am going to show you one more table, a table showing the performance of batsmen. Here the name of batsmen given as E, F, G, H, and the number of runs scored by them respectively shown as one column, and number of balls faced by them, and number of minutes that they could stand while batting. They means how much time that they have batted or they could stay in a field, that is given as a third column. Now children, when you watch these sort of tables, you know, in a game of cricket, the information recorded is not simply about who won and who lost. It is indeed in the scoreboard you will also find some equally important information about the game. And for instance, you may find out the time taken and the number of balls faced by the highest run scorer. That gives best performance and best batsman, for which it is going to be a big criteria to decide man of the match. So children, this what the work that we are doing is a kind of handling the data. Now similarly, in your day-to-day life also you must have seen several kinds of tables consisting of numbers, figures, names, and etc. These tables provide data. So here I am going to give you the meaning of data. So the tables which you have seen are examples for data. And what does data means? A data is a collection of numbers gathered to give some important information. So children, the definition, or I can say meaning of the data, it is a collection of numbers gathered together to give or to obtain some information. So now let us get into another important topic called recording data. What is recording data? Let us take an example of a class which is preparing to go for a picnic. Now, the teacher asks the students to give their choice of fruits out of banana, apple, orange or guava. Now, this task of taking a list is assigned to Uma. She prepared a list of all the children and wrote the choices of fruits against each name, like a big table. Children, this list would help the teachers to distribute fruits according to their choice. But if the teacher wants to know that number of bananas required for the class, she has to read the names of each student or the entire list one by one and count the total number of bananas required. Don't you think it is a tedious job? To know number of apples or guava or oranges separately, she has to do the same job. This process is a repetitive one and obviously it's a tedious job and very time consuming one too. It might become more tedious if the list has, say, about 50 students. Now, children, Uma writes only the names of the fruits one by one, like banana, apple, guava, orange, banana, apple, 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 etc. Do you think this makes the teacher's work easier? No, she still has to count the fruits in the list one by one as she did earlier. Now, an intelligent girl, Salma, has another idea. What is that idea? Let us see. She makes 4 separate square boxes on the floor, and every square she kept for a fruit of one kind only, like banana. This is a square box where bananas are counted. She asked the students to put one pebble in the square, which makes their choice. That is, a student opting for banana will put a pebble in the square marked for banana and so on. Now children, suppose this square box containing bananas could be seen, and let us say orange is seen now, where orange box contains 3 pebbles, apple box contains 5 pebbles, guava box contains 4 pebbles, and obviously now I am able to tell counting just by looking at the figure. That figure is enough for us to count quickly. Don't you think this is an easy process of counting? Yes. By counting the pebbles in each square box, Salma can quickly tell the number of each kind of fruit required. She can get the required information quickly by systematically placing the pebbles in different squares. Now, this is going to be a better way of organizing the data. Now, let us learn organizing of data. Students, to get the same information which Salma got, Ronald needs only a pen and paper, rather drawing squares on the floor and asking the children to keep pebbles on each box, whichever they choose for their choice of fruit. So, what did this Ronald do with just pen and paper? To count the choice of the students. He also does not ask students to come and place the pebbles at all. Let us see what he is doing. He prepares the following table. How he prepares the following table? This is the table. He writes a banana, orange, apple, guava in a one column, and he asks the students to raise their hand if they prefer banana, and he counts the number of hands and takes a count as 8. Similarly, he does for the other fruits too. Do you understand Ronald's table? What does this one tick mark indicates? This one tick mark indicates number of students that opting the fruit, whatever it is, ticked against. 4 students preferred guava. How many students preferred guava? You could see with the tick marks. How many tick marks are there against guava? You know, 4 only now. How many students were there in the class totally? Can you answer me now? Find all this information. What does one tick mark indicates? One fruit. It indicates one fruit. One tick mark refers one fruit. How many tick marks are there against guava? 4 tick marks are there. How many students were there in the class? It is total sum. So 8 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4, it is 20. So this is how we can answer quickly. Now tell me children, which is the best method and why? Which method is more useful when information from a much larger data is required to be collected? I prefer this table, Baba. So this table is a best or more better way of organizing the data, right now? Now coming to the one example. Here I am taking example number 1. A teacher wants to know the choice of food of each student as part of the midday meal program. The teacher assigns this task of collecting this information to Maria. Maria does so using a paper and pencil only. After arranging the choices in a column, she puts against a choice of food this mark, maybe at one vertical column mark for every student making that choice. For example, this is the table that choices are rice only, chapati only, both rice and chapati, and number of students opting, you could see these marks. But students, do you find difficult in counting this number of marks? Don't you? Baba, I am find it difficult in counting. I may go wrong too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. If I keep counting, I may go wrong. Is there any better way of showing these marks? Umesh is suggesting now. Umesh, after seeing the table, suggested a better method to count the students. He asked Maria to organize that marks in a group of tens as shown below. Now you could find now 10 in a one group, and next again here 7 more are there, but difficult to count now. Is there any still better way? Yes, there is still better way, children. Let us discuss that now. Now shown here, teacher suggested that the 5th mark in a group of 5 marks should be used as a cross. Now that is shown like this. What we do? We'll first mark 4 vertically, and that 5th one will mark this cross way. Okay. Now that helps us in counting as a group of 5s, right? These are called tally marks, and thus this tally mark where 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 cross nothing but 5. So I will now start counting this as a 5 quickly. 5 plus 2, it becomes 7. Whereas another example, this becomes 2 such bunches, 5 and 5 together gives me 10. Now look at this table. Same table which Maria did, I am doing it in a better organized way using tally marks. What does tally marks means? While counting, number of people will count as a bunch of 5s by marking like this: 1, 2, 3, 4 vertically and fifth one crossing over them. So this becomes as a bunch of 5. Now students, here number of students opted rice only are 17 in number. Number of students opted only chapati 13 in number, and number of students opted both chapati and rice are 20 in number. Now let us take further. I am taking one example 2 where Ekta is asked to collect data for size of shoes of students in her class 6th. Her findings are recorded in the manner as shown below. This table contains size of the shoe 5, 4, 7, 5, 6, 7 and so on. Javed wanted to know the size of shoes owned by the maximum number of students. Can you answer that by looking at this collection? And even Javed wanted to know the size of shoes owned by the minimum number of students. Both these questions cannot be answered by just looking at this collection of data. We need better organization. What could be that? We shall find. Ekta prepared a table, whereas using the tally marks. This is the table. Size of the shoe. Here we have got minimum being 4 and maximum being 8. So between 4 and 8, rest of the numbers we are writing as a column 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we are putting a tally mark 4, 1, we will mark it here, and next here while marking I can start counting from this, like if I am counting 4, how many are there? 5, how many are there? 6, how many are there? 7, how many are there? I can count by looking at this 5, 1, 4, 1, 7, 1, 5, second, 6, first boy, 7, this is second boy with the 7 size, 6, second boy of the 6 size, 5, third boy of that 5 size, 6, this is third boy of 6 size, 6 again, this is fourth boy of that 6 size, and fifth 5, that means fourth boy of the size 5, and 4, this is second boy, and 5, that means this is the fifth fellow, I am putting cross over it. Now 6 is also fifth boy with the size 6, so fifth boy I am crossing over that 4 tally marks. Now 8, so 8 I will take it separately here, 8 first boy, 7 with that size third boy I got it, 4th, this is also third boy with the size 4, and 6, this is a 6th boy with the size 6, I am drawing the tally mark little far away from this 5. So now with 5, again this is 6th boy of the size 5, so I am writing little far away from this bunch of 5s. And now 6, this is a 7th fellow, I am writing beside of it, and with the 4 size I am getting 4th boy with the size 4, 6, he is 8th boy, I am drawing here, with a 5, he is a 7th boy, I am drawing here. You could see like this they are done. And now from this table, can we answer all the questions asked earlier? They can answer easily now. So there are 10 students whose size of the shoe is 6. That means maximum number of students wear the shoe of the size 6, and minimum number of students wear the size of the shoe 8, because 2 is the number. 2 students only have got that size. So this we can answer using this table we call frequency distribution table, done using tally marks. So using this table we can easily answer the questions. Now students, we will learn another important topic called pictograph. What is pictograph? Pictograph is the representation of data through pictures of objects. Through the pictures of objects. Let me explain you. It helps answer the questions on the data or just with a glance of it. Let us take an example. The following pictograph shows the number of absentees in a class of 30 students during the previous week. Now this is the pictograph. It is an example for pictograph. On Monday you could see face mark 5 drawn against the day, which shows number of absentees, where each face mark means one absent. So one absentee is represented with the help of a face mark, one face mark, which means on Monday I have got 5 students absent, on Tuesday 4 students got absent, on Wednesday 2 students got absent, on Thursday no student is absent, on Friday 1 student is absent, and maximum you could find on Saturday, because there are many number of faces drawn there. So how many students are absent? 8 students are absent. So this is how we can count easily. On which day were the maximum number of students absent? Can you tell me? 8 number of students are absent on Saturday. So Saturday is the maximum number of students absent. Then which day had full attendance? Yes, Thursday is that day where no student is absent. Now what was the total number of absentees in that week? Now can you count total? Yes, that is 5 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 8. So there are 20 students absent in that week. Now let us take the interpretation of a pictograph. What is the meaning of interpretation? Interpretation is just nothing but we could answer questions based on the pictograph earlier given now. That is called interpretation. That means reading the pictograph, understanding the data given in it. After understanding the data given in it, or from that answering the questions asked based on that pictograph will be called as interpretation. Interpretation means reading of the pictograph, understanding the data given in it, and answering the questions on that pictograph, whatever are asked. This is interpretation. Now I will explain this with the help of example number 4. The colors of a fridge preferred by people living in a locality are shown by the following pictograph. This is the pictograph. Now blue color, some faces are drawn, or maybe picture of people is drawn. green color, red color, white color. Now children, where each that figure represents 10 number of people, which means how many like blue color? 5 pictures are there, 5 into 10, so which means 50 people of that locality like blue color. Okay, now we have 3 pictures drawn against the color green. That means 3 into 10, 30 people like green color. Whereas red, you could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fully drawn pictures, whereas you could see this is half drawn. That means it may be a 5. You can say it is 5 into 10 plus that half a picture, which maybe represents 5, and put together total 55, maybe 55. And whereas in white there are 2 pictures fully drawn, that means 2 into 10, that means 20 people of that locality love white color fridge. Now students, here find the number of people preferring blue color if this is question asked. Can you interpret it? Obviously, I have already briefed there. So 50 people love blue color. You know, this is the work which you are doing will be called as interpretation, because you read the graph, you read the pictograph. After reading it, after understanding it, you are answering it. These questions which are asked based on this pictograph. This is called interpretation. Now tell me this question. What is the answer? How many people like red color? Yes, here I can say 55. But somebody may think this half as instead of 55 or this half as 5, somebody may think little more than 5 also, na? Someone say 6, someone say 8, someone say 7. Is there any wrong in their answering? No. There is ambiguity because of this half picture. That is the demerit of pictograph. Children, here I am going to show you the solution how to write for these questions. Here I have given you how to write the solution for your exam sake. Whenever you are asked to interpret by giving this question and graph, you need to answer these questions like this. And little more easy steps I will show you, don't worry. And now think and discuss, and can you write? In the above example, the number of people who like red color was taken as 50 plus 5. If your friend wishes to take it as 50 plus 8, is it acceptable? Yes, it is acceptable, children. And that ambiguity is because of this half picture, as I said earlier, and this is the demerit of pictograph. Now let us solve some more questions on pictograph. Here I am taking example number 5. A survey was carried out on 30 students of class 6th in a school. Data about the different modes of transport used by them to travel to school was displayed as a pictograph. What can you conclude from that pictograph? Here is the pictograph. Children, modes of traveling are private car, public bus, private car and public bus, school bus, cycle, walking. And where against each that modes of traveling, one smiley is drawn. That smiley, each smiley represents one student. That means here you can count how many prefer private cars out of 30 students of class 6th in a day school. Don't worry, this is not a scenario for residential school such as in our case. You know, Today we are in such a pandemic situation where you are not coming out of your house at all, and I am reaching you through this virtual mode. Anyways, jokes are apart. Now what would be the solution? From the pictograph we find that a number of students coming by private car is only 4 people, and maximum number of students use the school bus to come to school. This is the most popular way. School bus is the most popular way. Another, cycle is used only 3 students, only that by 3 students. Now the number of students using the other modes can be similarly found. Okay, now this could be the interpretation. Okay, you are concluding like this by watching the data. There is no specific question, so you are not answering any specifically, but this could be the way of thinking by watching this data. Now here I am taking another example, number 6. Following is the pictograph of the data of wristwatches manufactured by a factory in a particular week. Let us say Monday to Saturday days are taken as a one column, and number of wristwatches manufactured on those respective days are depicted as a picture, where each watch says 100 wristwatches are produced. Now on Monday you could see 6 figures, that means 600 watches are produced on Monday by that factory. Now on which day were the least number of wristwatches manufactured? Can you answer by watching this? Yes, Saturday, because here I am not counting at all, I am just comparing here. Saturday is the day where less number of watches are produced. You know, this is 5 full figures and half a picture. Maybe due to that I can say 50 plus 500, maybe 550 are produced on Saturday. So on which day were the maximum number of watches were produced? I can say straight away Thursday, because no counting is required. Maximum number of figures I could see on Thursday only now. Now find out the appropriate number of wristwatches manufactured by that factory in that particular week. You need to find approximation. See children, here this you could do by counting on Monday 600 and on Tuesday maybe you can say 750, like that. You count them and then total them, you will get total number of manufactured watches in that week by that factory. Now students, we can complete the following table by another table like this. You can say 600 watches are on Monday produced, on Tuesday 700 to 800, maybe little more than 700, less than 800. Like this, by looking at this table or pictograph, you can fill this table and finally answer those questions. Now children, this is the time of homework. What is your homework? I am giving you exercise 9.1 of your textbook as a homework, because I covered what are all required to answer that exercise 9.1. There are totally 7 questions in it. I expect you doing whatever you could answer them, and if you don't know, we will be certainly discussing those questions if you fall back to me. So till then, take care of yourself. Jai Hind. Thank you.